For this part, we will be covering the organization of LAMP Words for Life. So you'll want to go into your Google Classroom, into classwork, and you may want to pull up this quick vocabulary reference guide. So we've already covered core vocabulary, fringe vocabulary, and the vocabulary files in Words for Life. For this part, we're going to talk about organizational structure. So we'll be covering this, and on the second sheet, looking at the different colors and how the words are organized. Let's get started.
Let's talk about the organizational structure in the Words for Life. LAMP Words for Life is based off of Unity, a language system in Prinky-Romich devices. This system was developed by Bruce Baker, who owns Semantic Compaction. There are some differences between the original Unity and the LAMP Words for Life. And those differences are really based on the LAMP principles, language acquisition through motor planning. The rules governing the language structure are for the benefit of the individual teaching the language. We recommend that words be taught by emphasizing the motor pattern. So here is the basic structure. Let's take a look. LAMP Words for Life is organized in layers. The top layer, or this home screen we're looking at, is always the starting point. This allows for the pattern of a given word to remain consistent. So we're going to use another tool in our world that is based off of a motor pattern to help us understand motor patterns. That would be our standard keyboard. The letters on a keyboard are not in alphabetical order. They are in what's called QWERTY order. And as you know, when you type on a keyboard, you can use a motor pattern to know the keyboard. Many people can type without even looking at the keyboard because they know where the home keys are and they know where their fingers go to touch certain letters. So we're going to think of Words for Life as learning to use a keyboard. So the screen we're looking at is the home screen, and again, it is the starting point for every word. So the home screen on Words for Life has several high-frequency words that can be said with just one hit. Those words are on the third row, and they're colored green. We have are, is, were, was, on, and to. If you keep going across, you'll also have an, the, and then if you go up to the orange keys, A is a one hit. These words are one hit because they're so frequently used when we're creating phrases and sentences. The orange key next to A that has the plus S on it, that is how we add an S to the end of any word. For example,
eat,
and if I touch the plus S,
eats,
now it's plural. And also, on that same row with our one-hit words, are, is, were, was, on, and to, you see that there's a spell key. It's spell numbers. And this, when we select it, goes to the keyboard. The keyboard allows us to type any word we want. And you'll notice too, at the very top row, you'll see number. If you go into number, you have access to many more numbers than show up on that top line on the keyboard. And then we can always go back, and we're back at our home screen, the starting point for all the words. All right, let's get into how it's organized in order to find words. So colors matter in Words for Life. They help us know which part of speech we're using. So we can select any icon on the home screen. For example, let's go to the bottom row and pick the apple, which is eat. You'll notice that we've gone from the home screen, that first layer, into the second layer. So we have access to this second layer with words related to the icon eat. So you can see them there. We have eat, we have grow, bite, chew, all words related to eat. Again, colors are important. Let's start with green. Green is for verbs. So you'll see right away that in that third row, the very first green one is the verb eat.
Eat.
Now, if we start again at our home screen and select the apple, we can conjugate that verb by going across. We have eats, eating, ate, eaten, or to eat. Placement is really important in this second layer. Let's try another icon. Let's go across that bottom row from eat, keep going across till you see the drink. Let's pick drink. Here's our second layer, and you'll notice in that third row, the first green one is the verb, drink.
Drink.
Or you can go across and you can get drinks, drinking, drank, drunk, and to drink. Now, sometimes there will be a third layer after you push the initial icon. So let's go back to eat. How do we know if the word is going to speak or if there's going to be a third layer? You'll notice that on some of the icons, the words are in all capital letters. And on some of the icons, they're in all lowercase. The capital letters indicate that there is a third layer. So let's go down and touch grow. And now we have that third layer that gives us all the verbs related to grow.
Grow.
So again, capital letters, all capital letters indicate a third layer. So at the top, in the very first row, you see that we have all those categories for different kinds of food. So we can be more specific about what do we want to eat. We might want to eat
Eat.
some Mexican food, like a
Burrito.
yum. Or we might want to eat
Eat.
a fruit, such as an
Apple. Eat apple.
delicious. All right, so green indicates verbs. Let's look at blue. Let's go back to eat. Blue indicates adjectives. So you can see if we go across that third row, when we get to the blue backgrounds, we have our adjective hungry, hungrier, and hungriest.
Hungry.
If we go to drink and we go across that third row, when we get to blue, we have thirsty, thirstier, thirstiest. And then you'll see there's a few other adjectives such as full, small and large, and empty. Again, thinking about how all of these words relate to drink. And we have a few words on this page that are in all capital letters, which means there's a third layer.
Swallow.
All right, so we have green verbs, blue adjectives, and now let's look at the color orange. Orange indicates a noun. If you look on this home screen, up there on the second row at the icon with the orange background, A, you notice we've got a lady there. We call her Old Mother Hubbard, and she has things in her cupboard. That helps us to remember orange is the noun. So let's look again. If we go to eat, you notice that that changes to food.
food,
If we go to drink, now our noun is beverage,
beverage,
and so forth. So just a couple of things to kind of clue you in to those colors. If you go to that second row to R, A-R-E, you'll notice the guy on the button. He is walking, carrying a bucket, singing a song, and he's got his hammer for working. He is the action man. So that helps us to remember verbs. If you go across to the adjectives, and in the, you'll notice that there's a paintbrush. Adjectives really color our speech. They give our words lots of life. And so that's how we remember adjectives. And then again, the orange background is our noun lady. She has things in her cupboard. All right, so let's go with the last color, which is yellow. If you're looking on your home screen, if you're looking on that left side, you see we have me, my, I, we, you, they, it, he, and she. And as you guessed, those are pronouns. Yellow means pronouns. All right, so let's take a minute to talk about one other category, and those will be our keys that are in black and white. The icons are just black line drawings. So on that second row, if you go across, you can see that we have the word please with some fireworks going on over the city. These are our interjections. These words pop in our conversation, like fireworks popping in the sky. So let's touch please. And you can see how awesome. We have words like thank you, oops, okay, yuck, surprise, and one of our favorites, if you go in the middle to the sunshine,
ha ha ha,
we can laugh. That's terrific. All right, let's keep going. The next one is next to please, the wizard, that. Those are determiners. The wizard is using his wand to point to this, that, those, and these. So here we go. Let's touch that. And there are all of those words there. That, these, this, those, all of our determiners. And a fun word, magic, because wizards are magic. Let's go back. All right, next to the wizard is and you see the little train connecting. Conjunction, junction, what's your function? It's an oldie, but a goodie. So if we go into and, you'll see that we have conjunctions. We have or, because, although. Terrific words there. And then if you go back and look at that icon again for and, you see above the train it says 1 + 1 = 2. That helps us remember that we have math terms in that location. So if you go back in, you'll see them on that left-hand side. Equal, add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Our noun is number or numbers. All right, let's keep moving across. Next to and is in. There's a bridge there, and the clouds can go over, under, through the bridge. These are our preposition words. Let's check them out. So in these icons, you see we have our cute little purple blob. He helps us decide. If you look across that top row, he's at the top of the ladder. He's in the middle of the boys. He's at the bottom of the ladder. If you keep going across, he's under the umbrella. He's in the box. All of our preposition words. Let's keep moving across. The next one is question words. We have all our questions. We can ask for our verb, and then there they are. Who, when, how, why, whom, whose, where, which, and what. And finally, the question words, if you skip over the orange ones on that second row, you'll see there. It's an airplane flying plus ly, these are our adverbs. Words like very, ever, ready. Let's look in there. Maybe, ready. Are you ready yet? Almost. So many terrific words for adverbs. We are giving our students lots and lots of parts of speech. And the organization of this just allows for them to have thousands and thousands of words. Okay, so finally, now that we've covered verbs, adjectives, nouns, pronouns, and all of our other grammar words, let's talk about the final one, the nouns. So nouns are typically found in the top 2 rows after pushing an icon on the home screen. In the transition and full vocabularies, the first 4 to 5 buttons on the second row are blank. These buttons are for strong favorite items. In other words, you can add nouns that are really important to the person who the device belongs to. So let's take an example. If we go to eat, and let's say that your student's favorite thing in the whole wide world are Cheetos, we are going to add Cheetos to that blank button in the second row. And when you get into the videos about programming, you will learn how to add words that sort of personalize our device. All right. So let's take a minute and look at our categories. So on your cheat sheet, on your quick reference guide, on the back page, on the right-hand side, there is a column. And it lists out, it has the icon, and it tells you what the category is. So starting at the top there, mine, which is in the first row, the second button, mine is all about names. So we touch mine. You see we have a lot of blank icons here. Mine is the only word there. And the reason for that is that this is a great page available to put people's names on. Names that are important to the device user. All right, let's go back. If we're looking at our categories, there are noun categories on our quick reference guide. The next one is body parts. So on the first row, that top row, go all the way across the end and you will see the word off. And you'll notice there's some Mr. Potato body parts there. If we touch off, hey, look at that. All of our body parts are there. So we have access to talking about our body parts. Plus, we have that word off on that right-hand side. We can take the parts off of Mr. Potato Head. All right, let's go back. Let's do a couple more. So in the second row, about 3 icons in, is a little suit, and the word is wear. And as you can imagine, that is clothing. So if we touch that, we have access to talk about our shirt, pants, sweater, if things are too tight, if they're too loose, if we look nice. And then if you touch that very first icon on the top row that says clothing, you'll get a third layer that offers you more items of clothing. Okay. All right. So let's skip down the column just a little bit. If you look in the middle row and go across, you'll see that there's a feel button. There's 2 masks, one's happy, one's sad. Those are our emotion words. And you can see if you go into there that we've got lots of emotions at the top. Plus we have lots of other verbs that go with emotions like enjoy, excited, embarrass, bored, amazing. All right, let's do one more because you have the little chart on your quick reference guide for the vocabulary so you can look at all the different categories there. But let's go down because this is always a fun one to a lot of my students. So if you go to the bottom of the page in that right-hand corner, kind of, you'll see there's 3 people walking in a line, and the word is follow. So we're going to go into the second layer of follow. We're going to touch follow. Here's our second layer. And so on this page we have words like boy, girl, friend, child, person. So I like this page because this is typically where I add their friends or their classmates at school. Again, they talked about that second row will have at least the first 5 icons blank, so you can put some people in there. And so I typically like to add friends here, and you can view the video about programming to learn how to add friends' names and their pictures. All right, so let's go back. I've got one more tip for you, and it's on your quick reference guide, and it's the very last thing. It says tip. Search for a word using Word Finder, type a word, and it will show you how to say it in LAMP. So if you cannot figure out where a word is, you may use Word Finder. So there's 2 ways to get to Word Finder. The first one is if you go to the menu in that top right corner, the menu pops down and you'll see Word Finder, and touch that. So if we can't find a word and we really need it, so I'm telling my student that we're going to do something later, and I don't know where later is, I'm going to type it in, later, and I'm going to hit find, and look at that. It shows me how to get there, and I can actually touch those 3 icons there, and it'll walk me through the motor plan. So later is a time, and in that bottom right corner we touch late, and there we have the adjective later.
Later.
All right. The other way to get to Word Finder is you're going to use your spelling number key. So if you're in that row where our one-hit words are is, were, was, on, and to, you'll see the blue key that says spell. You can go into the keyboard, and at the top is the purple key for Word Finder, and that's where you can type in the word that you can't find. So if I want to talk to my students about art class, I may type in art, and I'll hit find, and look at that. It's a subject in school, so we're going to tap there, and it's going to walk us through how to get there.
Art.
Beautiful. All right, I hope you've learned a lot. Keep that quick reference guide close at hand, and it will answer a lot of questions for you. Thanks for joining.